Hi, I'm Brian Hoffner, Director of Hoffner's Training Academy and founder of American Tactical Apparel. I've been a cop since 1977, so I've had a gun on my hip every day since. But I learned the importance of the knife at a very young age when my father, who gave me my first knife, said, "Son, if you've got your pants on, you've got your knife on." And that's a very good point because the knife it's small, it's lightweight, it's very easy to carry. You should have it on at all times for eating apples, stripping wires, whittling wood, but as a survival tool and as a defensive weapon. As director of Hoffner's Training Academy, I have taught defenses with hands, knife, pistol, shotgun, rifle, etc. throughout the country. And why is my knife training program so popular? Well, because it's easy to learn, it's easy to use, and it's easy to maintain so it doesn't perish. You don't have to have years and years of martial arts training to defend yourself with a knife in my program. And you don't have to count on all these new fads, these new fad knives coming out. We got to relearn the knife, etc. These flippers, these levers, this and that. It's just a very good knife training program using a very good knife. The Hoffner knife. I developed this knife to coincide with my training program, and it's revolutionary. It's revolutionary because of the ergonomic grips, the pivot points, etc. that allow you to hold the knife and use different holds without the knife slipping in your hand and making the knife longer than a traditional knife would be. So we take the very best knife and combine it with the very best training system, and you're going to be able to learn it quickly, keep yourself and your family safe, and you're going to find that your knife is your new very best buddy. So let's get started. Now let's start with what my knife training program is not. It is not knife fighting. It's not the sharks and the jets duking it out. It is defending yourself with a knife. Let's talk about what happens if someone attacks you with a knife. If you try to defend yourself against a knife-wielding attacker with empty hands, there's a good chance that you're going to be injured, maimed, or killed. If you defend yourself with a knife against a knife, there's a good chance that both of you and the attacker, will be injured, maimed, or killed. If you defend yourself against a knife attacker with a superior weapon like a pistol, there's a good chance the attacker will be injured, maimed, or killed. It's just logic. Now, if you use track and field against a knife-wielding attacker, there's a very good chance that no one will be injured, maimed, or killed, and it can give you time and space to present a superior weapon to the defensive situation. So keep that in mind. So what we're going to learn today is how to use the folding knife in defense of your life in situations where it gives you the advantage to do so. I designed the Hoffner knife because it's the perfect defensive knife for my system and for you. Let's start with the knife closed. And these are all features that you're going to want to have in any knife, and that's why my knife is designed after these features. But with the knife closed, we've got a grip handles that give you grip. That's important because defending yourself with a knife can be wet. It can be sweaty, it can be bloody, it can just be wet. So we want to be able to maintain a handle on the knife. So good grip surface is important. The Hoffner knife has G10 handles with serrations in all the right places. Now, you notice these serrations here. This is a part of our patent. The whole handle system is part of our patent pending handle design with the Hoffner knife. But these surfaces here, it's a Heimer striking edge. It actually gives us the ability to strike and have a blunt object striking surface with the ability to provide a non-intended, less lethal blow. In other words, strikes that we're not trying to kill somebody, we're just trying to get somebody off of us. But if you look at the butt end of the knife, it is ergonomically shaped to our hand, but it also has compliance tool surfaces that can be used as compliant surfaces to drive somebody off of you without inflicting serious bodily injury. So that's very important. So grips, the design, very important. I'll go more into the actual ergonomic shape of the handle and how it is designed to prevent slippage in your hand, along with these index points that are the holes that you see in the handle, which are also very important. The clip of your knife, it's got to be strong. It's got to be steel, so that and a good spring steel, so that it doesn't flex out and it retains your knife in your pocket. It doesn't get lost. And it needs to be ambidextrous, so it can be set up for the same manipulations whether you're right-handed or left-handed. So we've got all these features with the Hoffner knife, and it all starts at the handle, which you see is flat, lightweight, compact, so comfortable to carry. Now, we'll start with the blade, and the blade starts at the ambidextrous thumb bobs here on the side of the blade, where you can open the blade and deploy it with your thumb if necessary. Now, the blade must be a good strong steel. The Hoffner knife is 440 chromium. I think is the perfect hardness of steel, not only to sharpen the blade, but to maintain the edge. And then you have your choice of smooth edge or combination edge, which provides a serrated section on the knife. It's your choice. I provide the Hoffner knife in both ways because ultimately you'll decide which one you like. Some operators like all smooth blade. It's just very easy to sharpen and keep maintenance of that blade. The serrations are popular because if you need to cut through as a survival tool heavy webbing or rope, the serrations are going to saw through that material much faster. So you have your choice with the Hoffner knife. The shape of the blade is a spear point. Why? Well, it's my favorite shape of a blade. It goes in straight, it continues traveling straight whatever it's penetrating, and for those professional operators where you can legally sharpen the backside, you have that option. So we've got a really good blade and a really good handle, and just an excellent operating system with the Hoffner knife. All right, it's important to know that if you ever have to use your knife to defend yourself, it's going to be scrutinized heavily in court. So it's extremely important that your knife does not say, "Prosecute me." So some very important features of the Hoffner knives are things you won't see, such as skulls and crossbones, or Dungeons and Dragons, or any types of assist, flippers, anything that an attorney in court is going to say, "Look what this guy has on his knife. Holy smokes, it's a switchblade," or whatever. This must be some type of executioner's knife. No, we don't want anything like that. We don't rely on any fads or gimmicks. We rely on a very simple, well-engineered knife that'll save your life without saying, "Prosecute me," and that's exactly what we have in the Hoffner knife. Okay, with the Hoffner knife, we have our live blades, which has the combination blade and the smooth blade, but we also have in the exact same configuration the red training knife. This is very important because when we train with a partner, we're going to sterilize the area, the room, and make sure there are absolutely no live blades, no live weapons in the area, and we will only use the Hoffner training blade, which is highly distinguishable as red, but it has a smooth edge and a rounded point. So we can actually use these while training with a partner and not have any injuries. Okay, before we get started, it's important for you to understand that you've got to have the right mindset for defending your life. You can have the skills, you can have the equipment, but if you don't have the mindset to get it done, you're not going to be able to get it done adequately. So I highly recommend that you view or attend my Forging the Warrior presentation, where it is a nationally acclaimed presentation of mindset, something that I have been studying and presenting on for decades. The way that the mind performs and can allow you to work under an extreme deal of stress. So that's very important. And with the Forging the Warrior presentation, we also cover the Code of the Warrior, which is basically how you train, fight, win, and live your life. So very important that we have these mindsets, and consider them heavily, and basically live a life in a way that we will win with not just the knife, not just the equipment, not just the skill, but with the mind, the body, and the equipment. All three. It takes all three to win. Without the mind, the equipment, and the body, they're just supplemental. The mind will allow you to win or cause you to lose. Your choice. Okay, whether you're training with me for hands, knife, pistol, shotgun, rifle, tactics, basic, intermediate, advanced, the stance is all the same. It's not this stance for that, this stance for another. Again, based on my mindset principles, we keep it simple. We use the same stance. It's just got to be a very strong stance. And it has to look natural so we can have the element of surprise. So I'm in a stance right now. I'm in a hands ready stance. We want our feet shoulder width apart, our knees flex slightly, and our hands up here relaxed underneath my guard position where I can block, etc. quickly. So my hands are relaxed, my body's quasi-relaxed, my toes are digging in slightly so I can lean forward a bit, because I get my forward ballast and the ability to deliver a technique with strength, speed from the foundation. So the foundation has to be strong, the toes have to be curled in so I can lean forward. Because stance is so critical and the foundation of your defense, let me show you how to make it strong. So if John has his feet shoulder width apart, his knees flexed slightly, but he's still standing flat-footed. If I take one finger, his toes come up. Once your toes come up, you've lost your stance. So lock them down, curl the toes down, lean forward to where it feels like if you lean forward anymore, your heels are going to come up. We're not going to fight on our tippy toes, so we're going to keep our heels down. But you notice one finger, I can't get him to budge. Hard smacks, he doesn't budge. So that's how we apply the stance to the position. Thank you, John. Now, when you're in hands ready, you're just going to be quasi-relaxed. When you actually apply a technique, that's when you set the body. Okay, so I'm quasi-relaxed. If I was to go to from hands ready to a wedge block, I'm setting my toes, my body, and all my muscles all on presentation. If I was in spine pick ready and I applied the same technique from spine pick, same thing. If I was to apply a sweep, a jab, a thrust, I'm applying all of my muscles, the toes, through my nose, all on presentation. And that's very important. Okay, let's talk about carry position. I'm right-handed, so my right hand is dedicated to the use of my pistol. That means my knife must be carried on the support side as a primary position. So that's called pocket carry. The knife is in the pocket, clip to the pocket edge. Pocket carry. Now, if you're concerned that you may not be able to defend your knife, someone could grab it, you're in a crowded area, your hands are full, then you just simply put your knife into the pocket where it doesn't show. This is called deep pocket carry. It does not show. So we've got pocket carry and we've got deep pocket carry. Your choice. When you receive your Hoffner knife, it's going to be set up for a right-handed person. So if you're right-handed, you're good to go. You don't have to do anything. The clip's going to be in this configuration. If you are left-handed, the knife is going to be carried on your right side, and you're going to have to remove the clip and put it over here in these holes on the other side because the Hoffner knife is ambidextrous. So we're just going to simply take our T6 Torx wrench and remove the screws on this side, pull the clip up, flip the knife over, and now just mount the screws down into the other side. Snug these screws up. You don't have to Loctite these because you might want to change it later. Just get them snug, don't strip them out. Just give it about 5 pounds of pressure and your screws are tight. And now the knife is set up for left-handed or right side carry of the Hoffner knife. Okay, let's go into operating with the knife. And it starts at ready positions. My knife is stowed away, but I still have a ready position. If I don't have a piece of equipment in my hands and I'm ready, then it's simply hands ready. Now, hands ready means I'm ready to defend myself with hands or present the equipment. So my hands need to be up here, up high, where they can block, where they can guard, and also where they can deploy the equipment. So, from hands ready, the next level of readiness that I would have is pocket ready. I'm going to leave my right hand, because I'm right-handed, up here in the guard position. If it's not grabbing a pistol or something, it stays in the guard position. And then I take my knife hand, my left hand, and I'm going to come to this position, the pocket ready position. Let's look at the pocket ready in more detail. Okay, the initial pocket ready index is important, so let's look at it as if the knife was inside the pocket. Your thumb slides in between the knife and your leg to the thumb index hole. Your index finger comes to the tip of the clip, your other fingers to the rear of the clip, and then the butt end of your knife, free of the axis end, press right up in there. This is the inside the pocket, whether at pocket carry or deep pocket carry, this is your index. Drawing the knife to utilize it as an impact weapon is the same as drawing the knife for any other use. Pocket ready is the same index. You're just going to draw the knife, and instead of opening it, you're just going to place your thumb over the end of the knife with the knife closed, and now you have the impact surface as a tool. Drawing the knife to use it as a compliance tool, again, your pocket ready index is the same. You just pull the knife out and you're already there. The thumb is left in the index. You just simply wrap your fingers around, and you're going to be using these surfaces here as your compliance tool. Either this point here driving up under the chin, or this surface here driving up underneath the nose. Next, we're going to cover the draw to the spine pick ready, where we're actually opening the blade. So I'm going to draw it up. Notice this area is all clear, and I'm going to give a movement of the knife forward and then quickly and smartly draw it back. It's that reverse inertia that allows the blade to open and lock fully. Just like that. Then I just transfer my thumb over the ergonomic end of the butt of the knife again, and I'm now in the spine pick position to where the spine of the blade is facing me, the edge of the blade is facing out towards the threat, and I place the knife behind my guard hand here. So this is spine pick ready. The reason I have the fingers on the rear of the clip here is to make sure the knife stays solid in the hand. My thumb is still indexed where it's supposed to be. So to open a spine pick ready, again, I'm going to give a smart movement to the rear, which allows it to lock in place. And then I take my fingers, walk up the blade, and put my thumb over the end. And now I'm in the spine pick position, and you notice that the blade is longer because I'm working with my hand from the back side of the handle, and it makes the blade longer. Another advantage of the Hoffner knife. Now, if on opening your knife, the knife doesn't open fully to that strong click that you feel and hear, well, you don't keep doing it over and over again because it could come close on top of your fingers. So instead, what we'll do is we'll bump the blade on your hip area, on your belt, your mag pouch, your pants, whatever, to ensure that your blade is locked fully and cannot close. That's very important. Now, if you're concerned that the blade can cut you when you press it, even if you miss your belt and got your love handle, let me assure you that it will not. If the edge of your blade, if I was to take the edge of this blade, even with the serrations, and press it hard on my forearm, notice it didn't cut. The edge requires movement to do its work, not pressure. It requires movement. So I don't want you to lock your blade open with movement. It's just simply taking the blade and popping it on your hip side to ensure that it's in a fully locked position. Probably not going to happen, because after you learn the procedure, it's very easy to get the blade to lock in, and the locking of the blade is a felt index. You feel it happen through the handle and into your hand. Okay, so practice your presentations from both hands ready and pocket ready. You're going to find that pocket ready is going to be much faster. So if you're in an elevated state of awareness, you don't want to be at hands ready, you want to be at pocket ready. So what are the differences as far as presentation times are concerned? From hands ready, I want you to practice to where you can consistently draw to spine pick ready in 2 seconds or less. All right, let's try it. Hands ready, move. 1001, 1002. That's where I want you from hands ready. From pocket ready, if someone's entering your reactive gap, your awareness is heightened, you've already got your thumb in the index hole, and it looks like you've just got your thumb hooked into your pocket, so you don't look like you're ready to present your knife, you look quasi-relaxed. Move. 1001. So you'll see that the presentation time is half for pocket ready versus hands ready. But you need to practice both and get very good at both. Once you have the blade open to spine pick ready, what are you going to do with it? Well, the first defensive move we're going to learn is the wedge block. The wedge block is a very simple block that can be applied very fast to basically place a wedge between you and the attacker to give you just enough time to plan your defense and execute it, whether it's to redirect and move or start working your blade, whatever the case may be. So we're at spine pick ready, and all the wedge block is I want you to think about popping your temple with your bicep and keeping your arm outside 90 degrees. It would look something like this. Notice how I keep my strong hand up here in a guard position to protect my face, my chin, my throat, my brachial area. Right? So I'm just simply popping my bicep into my temple as fast as I can. I'm not going to knock myself out with my bicep. The harder I pop it into the temple, the faster it gets there, the quicker I set the block. Right? And what this wedge does is it prevents a punch or an over-the-top attack with a weapon from making contact with your face and the top of your head. It sets a wedge and you can get a glancing blow over the top, but you're protected. Now, notice when I set the block, I also pull the spine of the blade back towards my forearm. This has reason as well, because when I set the block and I pull that blade back, if they are coming over the top or they are punching, they can actually skin themselves on my defense. I'm not doing anything. I'm not cutting them. I'm only using my blade as a block, and they're doing all the damage to themselves off of your block. Beautiful. Okay, so the wedge block is a very good defense, but we don't want to camp there. Once we set a wedge block, if needed, then we've already got to be working into plan B. Well, a very good defense in the spine pick position are sweeps, because with sweeps we're going to be using the edge of the blade, not the point. Anytime we can use the edge of the blade instead of the point, it's not going to be regarded or called a stab in court. And again, we want to make our defense as court friendly as possible, because we're the good guy. We're defending our life, protecting our family. We need to be testified to in court as the good guy. Right? So, in a spine pick position, I am prepared to use the edge of my blade. In sweeps, all I'm going to do is sweep the blade through the area of the threat. I don't need to target exactly. Okay? I just need to sweep through where the threat is. Now, to reload my sweep, I'm simply going to turn my hand over. So right now my palm is down. I just turn it over to a palm up position, and I'm now loaded to sweep again. Now to sweep another time, turn my hand over, palm down, sweep, palm up, sweep, palm down, sweep, palm up, sweep, palm down, sweep, and I continue loading for the next procedure. Okay? All the while keeping my hand here, unless it's needed for something else, in the guard position behind the blade. We don't want it out here where we can sweep our own hand. We want to stay behind the working of the blade. Now notice how the palm up and palm down on my sweeps become very smooth. Okay? Now, what size, you may ask, do I perform the sweep? Well, this is critical as well. If I have one attacker, then I'm just sweeping to the extremities of that attacker. In other words, his shoulder blades is far enough. Okay, any oversweep would give him opportunity to what? Get inside my sweep, get inside the work of the blade. So I'm just going to keep the blade at the shoulder blades of my attacker if I have one attacker. Now I'm also going to want to do it fast and keep the blade working. So this blade now, through its sweeps, becomes a blender. I have a blender action working here. And if he wants to reach in or attack, he's going to have to do it through the blender, okay, which will give him second thoughts, especially once the first time he does, he starts getting cut and nicked on his hand. He's going to have second thoughts about sticking his hand into the blender a second time. Now, you're going to open your sweeps up where we talked about one attacker. We've got the blender for that one. What about two attackers? Three attackers? Multiple attackers? Okay, so you open the width of your sweeps to the size of the threat. All right, sweeps can go in any direction that you feel the need. We showed them here horizontally. But what about if I need the sweeps vertically? We can do that. You're still rolling the hand over. What about diagonally? In this direction. Diagonally here. Or creating a giant figure 8 through my sweeps. Either way, we're creating a blender effect with these sweeps, guiding the blender wherever the blender needs to be to defend ourselves against the attack. So we've covered the wedge block and we've covered the sweep from the spine pick position. Let's combine them. If we set a wedge, all we have to do now is sweep if we felt the need to continue our defense. So it's wedge, sweep, wedge, sweep, wedge, sweep. Very simple maneuver, very effective in your defense. The next technique we'll use with the spine pick position is the jab, where I'm actually using the point of the knife versus the edge. So I want to load that position simply by bringing my thumb up near my ear. Once I've done that, I'm loaded to jab. Okay? Notice how my blade is in a horizontal position. The horizontal position of the blade ensures that it fits into horizontal defensive areas such as the eye sockets, horizontal, the mouth, horizontal, the area between the chin and the sternum, horizontal, even that area between the ribs, horizontal. So this horizontal position allows deeper penetration in the defense of my life into those very effective areas. So once loaded here, I'm not going to perform a power move, I'm going to perform a quick jab. The speed of the blade popping into the attacker is what I want. Popping him in the face as much as I can to convince him he must get away from me and stop trying to kill me. If I'm using the jab in conjunction with a sweep, I just sweep to that same load position and jab. So whether I load directly to the jab or sweep to the jab, it's very simple. It's the same movement. The jabs are very effective to drive somebody off of you. So in my program, we take very simple procedures, techniques, and we make combinations with them. So let's combine the sweep and the jab together. I'm at spine pick ready, I sweep, and I'm loaded to the jab, and I follow up with the jabs. Again, ready, sweep, jab, ready, sweep, jab, ready, sweep, jab, ready, sweep, jab, ready. Practice that. The next defense we're going to practice with the spine pick position is the thrust. Where the jab is very quick, the thrust is power. We're simply going to take the spine pick position and we're going to drive it into the attacker. Now you notice in this position where my arm is still bent, if you practice driving with the and popping the elbow, you're going to get tennis elbow. You're going to hyperextend the elbow. You're going to be very sore. So don't do that. We'll keep the arm locked at outside 90, but inside 180, just like that. And we drive with the hips. Power comes from the hips. Notice my hips moving. If I just do it the blade only, we have a weaker thrust. If I drive with my hips, I get a very powerful thrust. Okay? So, the thrust can be delivered to the rear. You got to make sure that you clear your own leg, of course, and drive the hip to the rear. Very good defense for a rear attack. It can go to the side, it can go somewhat to the front, but you're not going to have a whole lot of power. It's more of a jab directly to the front. We can thrust here, we can thrust here, thrust here, thrust here. Any one of those positions is very powerful for a thrust. Okay, so let's do another combination. We're going to combine the thrust, the sweep, and the jab together as we're being attacked from 3 angles. So I see an attack coming from the rear and I thrust to that attack. I got an attack coming from the side and I sweep through that attack. And now I'm loaded for jabs coming from this attack. Okay? So again, watch my hips now as I drive to the rear. Hips to drive power to the thrust. I use my hips to sweep through with power, and a jab doesn't require power, just speed. So thrust, sweep, jab, thrust, sweep, jab, thrust, sweep, jab. Practice that. Stop! Get back! You're cut! Stay back! Leave me alone! Alright, so we love the spine pick position. It's solid, it's strong, it's good in court, it's good in the fight, and it's a great hold. But we've got other holds too. We've got the foil position. That's our next position we're going to learn today. The foil position, some people call it the saber, traditionally has been held this way. There's either a hilt or some thumb knurls here that keep the knife hopefully from sliding when it's slippery when wet. But with this design, it's so much stronger because we back down to the butt end of the knife, and we've got the knurls here on both sides of the handle. We've got the thumb and finger indexes, and then we've got the butt end of the knife that we pull into the bone structure of the hand, and the knife just will not slide through the bone, which makes it a very good and solid position even when slippery when wet. So if you're a shooter, you know that when you hold your pistol, you line your front and rear sight up so that they're straight back into the arm and recoil comes straight back into the arm. Well, the foil position is the same way. We hold the knife so that the knife goes in a straight line into the arm again, and time we hit something solid, the knife goes straight back into the bone of the hand and it's held safely there. And again, the blade is 2 inches longer in this hold. So a really good hold with a really good knife. But how do we get there from the spine pick position? Well, it's pretty simple, especially with the patented index holes that we're going to use to make sure we get there correctly. We're going to take our thumb that is planted over the butt end in the spine pick position, and we're going to place it into the index hole on the clip side. Whether you're right-handed, left-handed, holding the knife with your left hand or your right hand, it doesn't matter. You're going to put your thumb into the index hole where the clip is, and you're going to put your index finger or your driving finger, the finger required for driving in a large metropolitan area, into the index on the other side. And you've got basically this hold on it, which is quite secure because you're into those index divots. Now, you're just going to use a little bit of centrifugal force and just bring the point up, and you're keeping your thumb into the clip side index hole, and then you take these fingers and you wrap them around these knurls, and which is shaped now. Basically the hilt on the Hoffner knife is right here, not here, because we're back here. So we got the hilt here, we're pulling the knurls in, we're finishing the grip by squeezing the knife and not allowing the knife to slide through the bone in the hand in the foil position. Now we've got a really great grip in the foil position as well. Right? So we're going to teach you how to work back and forth between grips, but getting yourself into the foil position is another great hold that you're really going to enjoy with the Hoffner knife, or any knife. Now, I recommend practicing with a red knife, or at least learning with the red training knife, dull edge, and there's no chance of cutting yourself. But if you do happen to drop the knife, whether it's a live blade or red blade, just practice letting it fall. Just move your foot if you have to, of course, but if you try to catch it, you're going to catch it by the blade. Why? Murphy says so. Let it fall. We now have an understanding of the spine pick grip and the foil grip, our two primary grips. We open initially to the spine pick, but we may use the foil, if anything, just to close the knife. But it's really important that we practice our transitions back and forth between the spine pick grip and the foil grip. So let's talk about that. How is it done? Let's start with the spine pick. So I'm in the spine pick, and when I transition to the foil, I'm going to put my thumb in the clip side index divot. And the Hoffner knife makes these transitions really easy because of these index divots. But it doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed. If you're left-handed, you're carrying on the right side, the clip is changed to the other side like we showed you, it's still going to be exactly the same. So fear not if you're watching this as a left-handed user with the knife in your right hand. I'm right-handed, the knife's in my left hand, so I have my thumb right here, just like the left-handed would, with the thumb in the index divot on the clip side. The point is down. I'm just going to use a little bit of inertia to bring it up and then finish the grip like we discussed, pulling it in tight to the hand so that it's all straight and there's no possible slippage. Now, to transition back to spine pick, I'm going to go behind the spine in the back of the knife with my thumb to the opposite index divot, and I just relax my clips slightly, and gravity brings it down to the point down position, and I finish the grip with the thumb over the butt of the handle and squeeze it in tight. So let's do it again. I'm going to go to foil, so I put my thumb in the clip side index divot, use a little bit of inertia, bring it up and finish the grip. I'm going to go to spine pick position. I put my thumb in the opposite side of the clip index, relax my grip slightly, finish the grip. Back to foil, I put my thumb in the clip side index, bring it up to the foil position. I'm going to go to spine pick, I put my thumb going behind the spine in the opposite side, there's no clip here, index divot, relax it, finish the grip. And then I want to start practicing this over and over, finishing the grip each time until I've got it down, and then practice it some more. Okay, before we go any further with the foil position and talking about the defenses we're going to use with it, let's talk about how important it is for just closing your blade with one hand. It's the one hand position for closing the blade. So I'm here in the foil position and I decide I want to close my blade. I'm just going to turn the handle upward to where I can put my thumb on the liner, okay, and then my finger on the opposite side of the blade. So it looks just like this. I'm going to pull the liner this way, and I'm going to move the blade just 1 inch. Okay, again, I'm going to move the liner this way and move the blade 1 inch. After I move the blade 1 inch, I remove my thumb from the liner to the clip, and I close the blade fully. Once I close the blade fully, I'm going to take my thumb and my driving finger, look familiar, put them back in this position, and let the knife use its balanced weight to drop down to the closed spine pick position. Now I can use hammer striking edge, compliance tool, or open the blade to spine pick ready again. But if I want to close the blade and put it away, I'm going to do it from the foil position, thumb on the liner, finger on the blade, move it 1 inch, close it, close spine pick position. Now from here, I'm just going to replicate my draw index on the knife. Okay? I'm just going to take the knife and I'm going to take it to my pocket. I'm going to push out on the pocket to make the pocket taut, and then just simply push the clip down over the pants, and now I'm returned to pocket ready or hands ready pocket carry position. So I turn the handle up, put my thumb on the liner, finger on the blade, close it just 1 inch, pick my thumb out of the way, close it, take my thumb and forefinger back to the same 2 indexes, let the knife come to the down position, and I can strike, compliance tool, reopen the spine pick, foil position for closing, closed spine pick position, and to put the knife away. Alright, let's practice now going from hands ready, indexing to pocket ready, drawing to spine pick ready, transitioning to foil ready, closing the blade, transitioning to closed spine pick ready, and back to the pocket. All right, that's a good practice drill just to practice over and over again. Again, pocket ready, spine pick ready, foil ready, close the blade, close spine pick ready, back to the pocket. It's also good to practice opening to spine pick ready, transitioning to foil ready, closing to close spine pick ready, reopen to spine pick ready, transition to foil ready, close the blade, transition to close spine pick ready, open it, spine pick ready, transition. Just practice this over and over again to get the somewhat fine and complex maneuvers down. And after you practice this many times, each time finishing the grip, again that's important, you're going to find that it becomes easier and easier and easier to complete the maneuvers, and without any threat of losing grip on the handle, sliding from your hands, or anything of that nature. So between the spine pick position and the foil position, you can get a lot done in defense of your life. In fact, you may not ever have to leave the spine pick position in defense of your life for anything more than to go to the foil position, just to close the blade and put it away. Okay, so the foil position with practice is so much more than just a position to close the blade. The foil position is a very good defensive hold as well. In fact, with the spine pick position, if you remember, we started with sweeps. Well, we've got sweeps with the foil position also. We just sweep in the direction of the blade. So I would turn my hand over and sweep again. We're just turning our hands over in the foil position. One attacker, two attackers, three attackers, multiple attackers. Right? Same thing as the spine pick position. I can sweep up and down vertically. I can sweep horizontally, of course, diagonally in any direction, or make a chopping full figure eight if I like to with my blade down, or turn the blade. Either way, the foil position and sweeps are a good combination, just like the spine pick position and sweeps. Okay, just like the spine pick position, we can also jab with the foil position. Which, again, quick movements, not a lot of power, blades horizontal. We can jab to the face, to the throat area, to the rib cage, to the belly. Right? We can jab in this direction, this direction, this direction. Okay, so jabs, quick, effective with the foil position. Okay, so we've covered foil sweeps, foil jabs. What about foil thrusts? Power. Just like spine pick thrusts, the foil thrusts are used with power, so I got to use my hips. I'm going to drive it with my hip on the thrust. Notice again, my arm is not fully extended, so I don't hyperextend my elbow or bend it backwards. Okay, so if I was to grab an object, I pull it to me as I thrust. I want a lot of power to my thrust. I don't want to have a lot of power going to my left with a knife in my left hand. I could jab here, but I couldn't thrust here with a lot of power unless I shifted my feet. So we might have to require a shift of feet whenever we need to apply power along with the hips. But we've got, with the foil position, we've got sweeps, jabs, and thrusts. Okay, let's start combining the use of the foil grip and the spine pick grip together. So I'm here on the spine pick grip, and let's say I thrust to the rear. We've already practiced that. But let's say I look forward and I see an attack coming from the front, and I want to use something powerful like a foil thrust. So I will go to the same index points on my thumb and driving finger and index my foil right here to the hip. This is where it's loaded. My hip is still back. And now I have the proper foil grip and the hip position to drive my thrust to the front. Okay? Now if I transition to the spine pick again and I choose to thrust to the rear again, I use the power of my hips to drive my thrust to the rear. I look to the front, load for a foil thrust to the front. I load for a spine pick thrust to the rear. I load at the hip for a foil thrust front. Load for a spine pick thrust rear. Load for a foil thrust front. Load for a spine pick thrust rear. Load for a foil thrust front. Load for a spine pick thrust rear. And I perform this drill over and over and get it practiced and get it confident, so should I need it in the defense of my life, I can do it smoothly and securely. All right, we're going to practice all of these techniques so you can revert to them and create combinations as you perceive the attack coming, and you just create combinations confidently off the skills you've developed. I might have to use a spine pick thrust here, a spine pick sweep here, a spine pick jab here. I might go to foil thrust, foil jab, spine pick thrust, spine pick sweep, foil thrust, foil jabs, foil sweeps, spine pick sweeps, jabs, thrust, jab. So in other words, we can put all these things together as much as we might need to get the job done with either hold. Till we use the foil position to close the blade, put it away, and we've taken care of business. Appendix carry, a secondary carry position for your knife. Why? You may need it. We talked about the importance of your primary knife carry position being the opposite side of your pistol. But if you're carrying two knives, you're going to use the appendix carry position. If you're not carrying a pistol at all and only one knife, then you should use the appendix carry position because it's accessible with both hands. So right now I've got my knife in the appendix carry position. It's tucked into my pants. The clip is behind the belt, so the knife is pretty well hidden. You'd have to look really close to see it. To index the knife for the draw, it's the same as I would in pocket ready. I just slip the thumb behind the knife in the body and I find that index hole, cheat it up slightly, and I just get the knife out. Make sure again that the index here is clear of the skin of the hand, and I'm able to pop it open to the spine pick ready position. So that's my primary left hand draw of the knife. If I was to draw the knife with my right hand, being a right-handed person, the knife is set up to be primary carried on my left. I'm going to go in with my right hand now, and I'm going to find that same hole and cheat the knife up slightly, and then I'm going to get my thumb on the thumb bob of the blade at a 90-degree angle so I can open it to the foil position from the right hand. If I wanted the spine pick, I would just then transition to the spine pick position. So with the left hand, I open to the spine pick ready. From the right hand, I use the thumb bobs and open to the foil position, both from the appendix carry position where my knife is accessible with both hands, it's comfortable, and it's well hidden. I want to thank you for joining me. I live my life with the Hoffner knife and these skills, so should you. By now, I'm sure that you'll agree that the combination of these skills and the Hoffner knife give you the best chance of prevailing in a close quarters attack. Once mastered, these skills will provide you the ability to defend yourself and protect your family in just about any close quarters confrontation. And the Hoffner knife, it'll get it done. But you gotta practice, practice, practice. Your Hoffner knife is your new best friend. Have it with you always. It will serve you well. If you have your pants on, you've got your Hoffner knife on. Just knowing it's there will improve your outlook on life, believe me. In closing, I encourage you to do good work, set your sights high, take up the slack, and get it done. I wish your days met with challenge and that you meet challenge equipped and with the skill, ability, and the tenacity to prevail in all that you do. I hope to see you soon in training. Until then, I'm Brian Hoffner wishing you success through self-reliance and being the sheepdog. So get in the arena, take a challenge, stay safe, but be willing. See you next time.